Greetings ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 5th episode of MOBAnomics 101, where we educate you on the world of MOBA games. We're joined by the one and only Blake Seymour, Vice President and Team Coordinator of the Dalhousie Esports Society. Today we'll be taking a brief look at the competitive scene behind Dota 2, League of Legends, and Heroes of New Earth. Usually the size and the level of activity of the competitive scene in a certain game is used as a measure of the popularity of that particular game, meaning that if the competitive scene is large and very active with lots of tournaments and sponsors, then the game is doing well and is indeed popular. And while it is a perfectly good measure of it, that's not exactly what we'll be talking about today. While the majority of us will probably never be in the top competitive team, that does not mean that we cannot learn a few tricks and strategies from the best players the community has to offer. So for us, watching the professional players, besides the fun, should also be about learning and figuring out why a certain thing was done in a particular way. In addition to watching the live streams of the competitive matches, it is also a good idea to watch the replays of the professional teams going head to head, and to be able to pause the game or to go back to a specific part that made you scratch your head and slow down and pretty much breaking down for yourself. Now let's take a look at the competitive scene of League of Legends.
The League of Legends competitive scene is drastically different from that of other MOBAs. After 2 seasons of competition, LoL is one of the first games that the developer has taken control of their competitive scene in both production and funding. The result of this is the League Championship Series, better known as the LCS. The LCS is divided into 4 different sections based on region. These sections are North America, Europe, China, and Korea. Each of these divisions play through a group stage, followed by a playoff bracket, in order to determine the top teams in each of these major competitive areas in the esports world. This format has already been completed once in Season 3 during the spring split, and the summer split is currently underway. The placements and records during these seasonal splits in the LCS will affect each team's qualification and seeding into the eventual Season 3 finals. The viewership of the LCS is some of the highest and most consistent that esports has ever seen. Numbers for the debut of LCS North America's summer split surpassed the viewership of the recent E3 conferences on Twitch TV. To put a number on that, over 140,000 people tuned in to June 11th's LCS broadcast. The LCS serves not only as a great form of entertainment and high-level competition, but it can also be used as an invaluable tool for learning the higher-level decision-making and strategies of the game. With commentary by casters employed by Riot, as well as a consistent stream of games every week, players have a huge database of games and commentary to sift through if they're looking for material to study to improve their play.
Heroes of New Earth and its competitive scene has been growing since launch. While it does not come close to the size of League of Legends or Dota, it is still very vibrant and has a lot of support from HON's developer, S2 Games. While HON is present at most of the largest gaming tournaments like DreamHack and others, perhaps one of the biggest highlights about HON's competitive scene is the HON Tour. HON Tour is a multi-event tournament series with a Season 1 cash prize pool of over $300,000. HON Tour begins with a qualifier to seed players into one of the 4 divisions. Perhaps the best part of HON Tour is the fact that it takes esports and provides competitive gamers of all skill levels with consistent and frequent events designed to place players in appropriate skill levels, called divisions. Every division pays cash prizes at the end of every event cycle, and this is definitely an attractive competitive model as it gives many chances to players of all skill levels. As for viewers, this model allows plenty of consistent competitive action that you can watch weekly on Twitch TV or within the game itself. Finally, let's talk Valve's Dota 2. Originally, back in 2011, Valve invited and sponsored 16 of the most accomplished teams to compete and showcase the capabilities of Dota 2 with its public debut at the International One, a global championship hosted at Gamescom, with a grand prize of $1 million. By the end of its first year in its beta phase, Dota 2 was one of the highest paying esport titles of 2011, second only to StarCraft 2. Dota 2 began as an official title for the World Cyber Games annual event in 2012. In addition, the Electronic Sports League, or ESL, began a seasonal tournament for Dota 2 called the Raidcall EMS1 in 2013, which was the largest independent tournament for Dota 2. At this year's E3, South Korea's Nexon, who will launch Dota 2 in South Korea, announced the investment of $1.7 million into amateur and professional leagues in South Korea for 2013. As we can see, Valve is packing a huge punch to the competitive scene with its product, and that scene is only growing, with International 3 happening this August. The base prize pool is the same as the one used in the first and second internationals. However, this time, 25% of the revenue generated by the sale of the brand new interactive compendium will be redirected to the prize pool. The interactive compendium allows players to predict the winners, vote on the awards, compete with friends, and win special items while supporting the teams. In addition, Valve introduced a Kickstarter-like approach with certain milestones unlocking various things for those that purchase the compendium. This is an amazing way to involve the fans, support esports and the teams you love, as well as market your largest tournament. Way to go, Valve! This concludes our brief look at the competitive scene behind the main 3 MOBA games. Don't forget to vote on our Facebook page for your favorite MOBA game that Stephanie will play. You pick the game and we'll make sure to capture the whole process on camera and feature it in the upcoming episodes. Until next time, class dismissed.
Coming up after the break, Mike gives his impressions on Ignition Entertainment's El Shaddai Ascension of the Metatron. Stick around to find out if this offbeat title is worth your time.